As we work towards our goal of cruising the world, each day can present a new setback to overcome. The Texas coast can be one of the most challenging environments to live in during the summer. Not only are we at a constant risk of major hurricanes, but often the heat can reach record-breaking levels. So what happens when the air conditioning that you rely on every day fails during a heat wave? And how do we go from
"This is supposed to make it not hot"
to
"I might get hypothermia from this thing running"? This is baloney! Alright, so if you've been a fan of Sailing Anticipation for a little while, you might remember that I put this in about 2 years ago.
This is the unit. Looks like we've got our battery now. So this is supposed to be...
I gave it a glowing review. I think that the MarinAire is a better value for the average liveaboard. If this thing breaks in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be very upset. And that would definitely change my opinion of it. If it lasts longer than 2 years, it'll have beaten the Dometic out. I might have to follow up in a couple of years and let you guys know how it's been doing. MarinAire was such a cool company, and I was so happy to have it. And then it exploded! It exploded on me for no reason whatsoever. Like, I get it's hot. This is supposed to make it not hot. And it sprayed oil and Freon all over the place, and it's been a hell of a job cleaning that up, but we finally got it cleaned up, and now it's too hot in here to actually do anything. So, you know, I could go and spend another $2,500 on another one, but you know what I did instead? I went and bought a window unit. This was $550. I could buy 5 of these for the cost of a new MarinAire or Dometic or Webasto or any of those brands. I am sick and tired of marine air conditionings not lasting long enough and costing too much. You see that little Toshiba unit that we put in Courtney's boat? Guess how much that cost? That was $150. We put that on her boat about 2 years ago, and it's worked great. It draws way less power than anything that we've ever had before. It's just so much more amazing. It's so much higher quality. Like, I don't get it. It's the same mechanical principles. It's the same mechanical components. Why do marine AC units not last like every other air conditioning unit in the world? And it's not just all that, but you know, like the plumbing, the raw water that you have to clean out every 2 weeks because of growth. You know, like the system is stupid. Why can't we engineer something better? So if you have the capital to design a new marine AC unit, one that doesn't require raw water, one that can just work for more than a couple of days, please let me know. Let's collaborate on that. I'm sure my mechanical engineering background and your capital, they could work together and we could get something that is great and cheap and just works on boats. Like, why can't things just work on boats? I don't know a single boater who enjoys buying a new air conditioning every 2 to 3 years. There are a total of 3 boats on this dock that have lost their air conditioning in the last week. And yeah, we could probably move to the Caribbean where it's a nice balmy 85 year round and not too bad, and you could just open your window, but we can't, right? We live in Texas. This is where my job is. This is where Courtney's job is. We just can't leave yet. And because we are stuck here, we have to have air conditioning or we die. Our cats, Gypsy and D'Artagnan, they would die if they were in this boat for more than 30 minutes. Like, this is a sauna. I am dying. I have to go outside to get cold. Let's talk about why this happened in the first place. 2023 was a record hot year, not only here in Texas, but across the world. Part of that is climate change, part of that is because it's an El Nino year. What happens in an El Nino year here on the Texas coast is it gets really dry and really hot. When we don't have rainfall, the seawater temperature actually comes up a lot. So our ambient air temperature was around 105 most days during the summer, and our ambient water temperature was also about 90 degrees. That's really hot for the sea. Now you might be wondering, why is that a problem? If you're not familiar with how a marine air conditioning works, you have a compressor that compresses Freon gas. When you compress that Freon gas, it gets hot. You have a heat exchanger here that's supposed to pull in cold seawater, and that cold seawater takes some of the heat away from that hot Freon. You then have an expansion chamber that allows that cooler Freon to expand, and that has a cooling effect. You also have a blower fan that is pulling in hot air, and that hot air exchanges its heat with the cold Freon in the radiator here on the front. So the blower is blowing cold air out. That warmer Freon now goes back into the cycle and it continues on and on as a continuous cycle. But what happens if the water coming in is hot? If the water is already warm, this Freon's not getting cooler in that heat exchange cycle. It is actually getting hotter. And when the compressor gets too hot, it'll enter what's called lockup. Lockup is essentially a fancy term for a special kind of short circuit. I checked the water flow and it was adequate. The airflow was sufficient for this to work. The compressor had no issues up until the day it failed. So I don't think it was anything other than the water was too hot to handle. So the technician that came out to help me with this, he has a device that can help knock a compressor out of lockup. Usually, I'd say 99% of the time, that would work, and it's worked on other boats in the harbor. Unfortunately for me, it didn't work here. Now, unfortunately, we're left picking up the pieces. And it's heavy too. So because Courtney has a hatchboard system and I only have these doors on hinges, there's very limited options in terms of what I can do easily to put the AC unit in the companionway. And with these out of the way, like that, I want it to lean up against this part of the wood and then kind of clamp around onto this part of the wood. So that's going to be the challenge here. And I brought the unit out here just to get some measurements and test fit it and see how that's going to work. The other good thing about doing this is, so under that settee, we currently have a bunch of venting that runs to a vent in the bulkhead, and I can get rid of all that. We're going to get back a closet in the front that is currently occupied with vent. We're going to get all the storage back.
More storage space in the closet.
More storage space in the closet.
So there's a lot of benefits to doing this project. The main disadvantage of having a window unit in the boat is that if we ever want to go sailing, we have to take it out and put it somewhere. And it's annoying, and I hate the idea that we're not going to be able to sail the boat as easily. But if it's that or heat stroke, I'm going to have to take the more inconvenient route. So it more or less fits, and I'm getting a better idea of how I want to actually mount it. I really doubt that I'm ever going to have an issue with this, other than how heavy it is. It's really heavy. I don't know what I'm going to do with it until I get the mount made. Just kidding, we're using power tools on this job. So I got a bunch of red oak to build the frame for the new air conditioning. The red oak, it's available at Home Depot, and it's a lot more rot resistant than some plywoods. I also like it because marine grade plywood, or plywood in general, it'll split apart if you try to put a screw through the end, whereas like a solid board is a little bit more resistant to that. So there it is, test fit, and looking pretty good. I'm going to build out a wood frame using wide board tomorrow. I want it to cover, the gaps obviously, and then I need to make a hatch board that'll slide in on top of that because we're not going to have a way to use the old door system anymore. But the good news is it's not too big, it's not too in the way. I can get to the first step where my batteries are charging right now. Before I do all that, I want to take it apart and get all the pieces epoxied nicely. That way there's no risk of moisture building up on this guy, ruining it or causing mold. Oak is great for rot resistance, but mold can still appear on any wood. The other thing I have to do is I have to get rid of the old air conditioner. So if you know anybody who wants to buy a broken AC unit, leave it down in the comments, please. final step in all of this is I gotta find a way to adapt the old power plug to the new one. And that might take a little bit more creativity because we need to find a way to put an outlet into an already busy nav station. Gypsy. There he is. Oh my gosh. Gypsy. He's not happy about being caught. Okay, we're in the engine compartment, and this yellow cable that comes up and around to here, this is the old air conditioning cable that went down in front of the engine and under the settee before, and now I've got it going through that little hole. But before I can put it through that hole, I need to strip the covering off from about here to the hole so that it can fit inside the outlet that I've got waiting on the other side. This is probably one of my least favorite things to do on these wires because these sheaths are really slick and not easy to cut into by design. Alright, I can't get it stuck to the wall with double-sided tape, but I don't care right now. I'm about to pass out from how hard it is. Let's go flip some breakers and make sure it's okay. If it is, I'm turning it on. Alright, I am showing power on the power panel, right there. Now I'm going to flip the breaker and hopefully nothing catches fire. So far, so good. Let's take a look at the outlet. This is a GFCI connector, which means that we need to flip the breaker internally to this. Okay. So the little green light means that it's got power. And so far, so good. Nothing is tripped or broken. Our last test for this is going to be to actually plug in the air conditioner and see if it works. Okay, just came on. Moment of truth. Ah. Just blew a bunch of dirt at me, but it is running and it is cold. I don't see any fire coming out of there. And it's drawing a little under 10 amps, but slowly coming up. Oh my god, that feels so amazing. Oh my, hey gosh, what a difference this makes. I might get hypothermia from this thing running. Oh man. Oh, wow. Just a boy and his air conditioning. What more can I ask for? Oh man. This is making a huge difference in my day. I'm gonna let it run for about 20 minutes. This is amazing. I love this so much. Yeah. If you ask Courtney, I was always a skeptic on these window units in boats because, one, they're not made for this, but they also get really in the way. There's no easy way to mount one in the boat. But the benefit of having one is really starting to show through all of my skepticism, and I'm sold. This is how we're gonna live from now on. Alright, so inside the boat I've got this nifty little thermometer on the side of the mast. When I first came on board this afternoon to start working, it was at about 90 or 95. Now we're looking at about 80 degrees. So I'm pretty happy with that result. I've got the unit set to 71 degrees. It's only drawing about 12 amps or so, which is a pretty good power draw. I can't get over like how nice it feels in the boat right now. It honestly is a complete game changer. I don't get it this cold with the old unit. And this is only a 14,000 BTU unit. The original MarinAire that I had and the Dometic before that, those were both 16,000 BTUs, and they couldn't keep up with this thing. Like, it's just hard to beat these results with a marine product, and that's really the summary of this whole video. If you have anything to take away from here, it is marine products are not what they are meant to be a lot of the time. And it's really unfortunate that we as boaters have to deal with that on a constant basis, where you buy something because it's marine grade and then it just craps out on you. So yeah, that rant is over. I'm feeling a lot better now that I'm in air conditioning. I've got to go to the store and buy some more brackets. I was under the impression that I had some white easy epoxy paint left, but I was wrong. I only have the seafoam green, which I'm going to use on the exterior faces of all the wood pieces. And then on the interior sides, I can use the easy cabin coat. That'll help protect it from mildewing on the inside. And because it's not exposed to the UV light or the weather, it should be pretty durable on the inside faces. Everything is dried and cured, and now as I put it together, I want to include some foam that I have. It actually came with the unit here, but I want to include that foam in spots where there's gaps or air. That way it'll be nice and sealed. So we're going to put this back in the companionway right now. A short disclaimer on that movie magic there. It's hot out, and in real life I'm actually sweating and miserable, so I don't want to give anyone the impression that it's as easy as a snap of the fingers. No, I'm about to do a lot of hard work. So anyway, let's keep going. All right, it's pretty much done. Is it the prettiest in the world? No. Is it the most convenient in the world? No. But you know what? It works, and you really can't argue with that kind of result when you're talking about something so critical as air conditioning, which will keep us from dying of heat exhaustion. All right, all that's left is to clean up the boat and make it livable. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. If you guys do that, it's free for you, and it means a lot to us. Gypsy, what do you think? Like and subscribe for more. Ain't she a beaut? I just love seeing air conditioning work.